Welcome to the road to the championship, the final hour of practice and preparation for the 39th running of the Coca-Cola 600 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And hello again, everyone. Ken Squire with you as we get ready to sort out just who is the fastest, who is the strongest among the 43 who will race for $2.5 million tomorrow afternoon and evening. Now, one of the big stories here is that of Jeff Gordon. Working with me is the three-time winner of the race, Buddy Baker, and Dr. Dick Berggren from Stock Car Racing Magazine. Let's get to the issue at hand, which is Gordon, 5 times on the pole. That equals the record of David Pearson. Seems like everything's going for him, but everything isn't going for him. What does he need, Baker?
He needs a good alarm clock. He oversleeps this morning. Had to ask his teammate, Terry Labonte, to take the car out and shake it down for him. Terry Labonte, of course, got in trouble, got into the outside wall going into turn 1, did a little bit of damage to the car. Last week, he ran out of fuel on the last lap with a chance to win the Winston. I tell you, it hadn't been a good week for Jeff Gordon.
What's a teammate for? We're going to find out right now. It's the first time the car will be back on the track since this incident in the fence this morning. Now, another big story is the story of Rusty Wallace. He is so hungry, so desperate to get back on top in the points and to win here at Charlotte. What about it, Dick Berggren?
Oh, he's got a great shot to win this thing, Ken, and Rusty Wallace knows how to win this event. He did it in 1990, and he's got a really strong horse. The car he'll be running in the 600 tomorrow is the same one he used at California. Almost won that race, and he's going to start in 4th spot. That's his best qualifying run ever for a Coca-Cola 600. Rusty's working with us today.
Thanks, guys. I'm happy to help you host Happy Hour. As you can see, our car qualified pretty well. We qualified 4th. I was hoping it could qualify a little better than that, but we did a really good job, and I'm really happy with the team and everybody. Right now, it's Happy Hour, and boy, we're busy. No doubt about that. For the next 45 minutes, you're going to see a lot of busy people out there. We'll be changing sway bars, springs, shocks, whatever we can do to make that car really good for that night race. The car we got to beat is that 24. He qualified awful well, and we've got our eyes set on him right now.
And there is that car number 24. And that car number 24, what a story there. That's one side of it. That's the side that looks good today. But the t'other side is totally different. Randy can tell you more.
Well, this crew has done an incredible amount of work here this afternoon, all during the Busch Grand National race here at Charlotte. The DuPont team was working on Jeff Gordon's car. They had to go back to their shop, which is located just a few miles from here, and pick up some very big chassis pieces. They replaced the trailing arms on the car, the rear end housing, the right front suspension, the center leak. They also had to bang out the right side sheet metal. I talked to a couple of the crew members just a moment ago, so we got her pretty well dialed in. We didn't want to take a chance. We wanted to just replace everything we could. We had a few more minutes. We'd have gotten the decals on the thing too. So they've done an awful lot of work. He's out on the racetrack. They're going to check it out and see what kind of times he's running, see what Jeff says about the race car, and go from there. But they seem fairly confident despite what happened here this morning.
Brand new right side on car number 24 for Jeff Gordon. So Jeff Gordon may be on the pole for the 5th straight time, but there's some other stories here as well. Back on Wednesday, Darrell Waltrip, number 1, the man who has won more 600s than any other, made his qualifying attempt. It was not good. Again, he is relegated to a provisional role to start the race. He'll come out of the dead bottom end of the field for the race. But DW is not concerned about where he's starting from or his qualifying problems. He's ready for this race. Darrell?
Oh, Ken, it wasn't that tough. Good grief. If I could just got my car to run as fast as I just did to get down here from the booth, I'd probably be on the pole for the Sunday night race. But let me tell you something. It's a 4.5-hour race, 600 miles. I can start anywhere in this field I want to and still end up in victory circle. Think about it. It's a lot like one of those trips when the kids keep saying, Dad, how much further is it? That's what I'm asking myself. How much further is it? I got to get to work, man. I got to get my car fixed.
Okay, Happy Hour is underway officially here. That final shakedown for the 600 tomorrow at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and no one has left after watching that thrilling CarQuest 300. They want to see who the strong prospects are. There's the pole car with that brand new right side since this morning. And there's the Busch winner back at work this afternoon, Buddy Baker, number 6, Mark Martin.
For 2 weeks, we've been here at Charlotte getting ready for the 600. That car, the 6th car, Mark Martin, has been the topic of the fastest car when the conditions are really bad on the racetrack. But we're showing on the computer the fastest car this afternoon, Wallace, number 2.
Mark Martin will start from 5th position. And here's Earnhardt ready to roll again. Some bent ribs, perhaps not broken, but they've still got to be painful as he gets ready for his run in the 600. More happy hour coming up. We'll be talking to many of these superstars getting ready for this $2.5 million run tomorrow.
NASCAR 98 Road to the Championship on TBS is brought to you by Budweiser. Now is the perfect time to enjoy a fresh, cold, Beechwood aged Budweiser. By GMC. With a complete line of exceptional sport utilities, pickups, and vans, find out how GMC can put you comfortably in command. And by Citgo. Depend on Citgo when it counts.
41 of the 43 starters for tomorrow's 600 have already made an appearance on the track. Rusty Wallace is currently the quickest at 173.055. Jeff Bodine is second quickest. But as we look down here, Dr. Dick Berger, and that Jeff Gordon car is still very much a factor.
Yeah, indeed it is, Ken. He is 3rd fast. He's turned more laps on this speedway than anybody else. And what a tribute to the Rainbow Warriors that they were able to do all that work. And right out of the box with all those changes, he's still lightning fast.
Already has turned 17 laps at 172.717. Watching Kenny Schrader here. There's Dale Earnhardt getting ready to go to work in car number 3 to try to win it again. Saw his son have trouble out here in the CarQuest 300 if you were with us earlier this afternoon on TBS Superstation. But take a look at what happened to the man in black just a week ago this evening.
You can see the fluids flying out of the back of Darrell Ruffin's car, and this set off a chain reaction between Earnhardt and Andretti, both of them hard into the outside wall.
And there you saw him coming away, holding onto his chest. Great concern about the condition of Earnhardt. For more on that story, Mike Hogwood stands by.
Well, let's ask him now. Dale, how do you feel? You look like you are feeling pretty good getting in this car.
Feel pretty good. Still just a little sore on my shoulder, but everything else is good. The car was really good in the morning's practice. Was a little loose on this practice. We're going to adjust a little bit, but not too much. We feel like we got to stay with the morning's practice. I think it's going to cool off tomorrow night. It'll be just right for us.
There had been some talk that you would wear one of those bull rider flak jackets. I understand you decided not to do.
Well, so far I've not. I can't get comfortable in it, so I'm comfortable like this. My shoulder's giving me the worst problem. They've been sore. My ribs are okay unless I get hit again.
Confident you can go 600 miles tomorrow night?
Oh, definitely, definitely.
The look on Dale Earnhardt's face says it all. He's ready to run this race. Steve Burns?
Hey, Mike, Dick Bergman said a moment ago about how hard these Rainbow Warriors have been working all day, and they're still going at it. They've changed the gear in the rear end of the 24 car for Jeff Gordon. Now, if you want to know some of the things that are the key to victory, small things. A moment ago, Gary Cogswell, who was a crew chief on Mike McLaughlin's Busch Grand National team, brought a set of tires that had been scuffed. Now, scuffed means they just run a lap or two on them to take the stickers off of them. So they're going to put those on Jeff Gordon's car. And look at this, just a little harmless looking piece of paper towel. Well, this was stuck to the nose, the grill of Jeff Gordon's car, and it shot the oil temperature up 30 degrees. So every little thing on this car is being looked at and fine-tuned today. Let's go now to Claire B. Lang.
Jeremy Mayfield is a 28-year-old young gun whose time has come. Most of the top 10 drivers are 20 years older than he is, and he holds the Winston Cup points lead. He's not had a Winston Cup point win yet, but he's due. His team was fastest in practice, just about every practice this week, and he placed second in California last year. Mayfield told me this morning, we've got everything going for us. Tomorrow, he's 600 grueling miles away from that elusive first Winston Cup win. Let's go to Alan Bestwick.
Well, Mark Martin just finished winning the CarQuest 300 for the NASCAR Busch Series here on the Superstation. He's made his first run in his Winston Cup car now. You see him there conferring with his crew chief, Jimmy Fennig, Sean Parker, the chassis specialist, and the owner, Jack Roush. Mark is on a roll on tracks of this type. He's won 3 races already this year, all on the 1.5 to 2 mile, as they call it, intermediate super speedways. Of course, he got the win in the All-Star race last Saturday night. He won earlier today. Momentum big for Mark Martin right now. They're making a chassis adjustment. He wants to try something on the car. He's going to go back out and make another run shortly.
Mark Martin has run 15 laps in this period. You can see him out of the car already. He is back in the garage area, and they're working on number 6, trying to get that in shape to win this 600 tomorrow. What do you think, Baker? Can they do it?
I think Mark Martin has the temperament, certainly, to win on a 600-mile grueling test that we have here at Charlotte. Mark Martin is on a momentum high right now, so you can't count him out in any race.
3-time winner this year, all on those new tracks. Won at California, holds it off at Vegas. He just keeps knocking them down on those new super speedways.
Yeah, plus he's also won in IROC, and in Busch Grand National as of today. An incredible year. He is well on his way to what could be Mark Martin's best year ever.
Texas as well went his way. Now you see as we continue, Ernie Irvin's number 36 out here getting in some times. Ernie Irvin trying to get back up on that winning side. It's been a while for him. And this team, they really need a boost.
Yeah, they do. Ernie Irvin has led just 1 race this year. He's got a pair of top 6 finishes. But you know, it's so ironic. You think about this, and Ernie Irvin was coming to these racetracks in the 28 car last year, always a contender. This year, the 28 car didn't make the show. And Ernie Irvin is coming in without a top 5 so far. This is a good place to turn it around for him.
And I think we should point out that's a big story as far as Rookie of the Year. Kenny Irwin, who replaced that driver right there, Ernie Irvin. He has not made this show in the Texaco Haviland number 28. That car is not here. And that means that Kevin LePage has a shot to equal Ernie Irvin in the rookie standings. Kenny Irwin had 5 top finishers. Kevin LePage had 4. Now LePage this morning slammed into the wall at over 190 miles per hour and destroyed a car. His backup car,
right from Felix Savada's stable, which is really interesting because the reason LePage hit the wall, one of Felix's other cars dropped some oil directly in front of him. So Felix has gone to the garage. They're going to give LePage a backup car. We'll see how all that turns out tomorrow.
This will be, without a doubt, Kevin LePage's greatest chance to really prove what he does so well. He is a real contender, and he will prove it tomorrow with the best of equipment.
Shelburne, Vermont's Kevin LePage is the talk of the Charlotte Motor Speedway at this hour. And with more on the story of the driver of number 91, here's Steve Byrne.
Hey, Ken, you talk about coincidences. I was talking to Kevin LePage before the race, and he said they had the very same incident here last year. They got in somebody's grease on the track during practice. He was in the same car. He hit the wall in the same exact place. He said he's going to call that car rear end and park it.
Watching Jeff Bodine out here. He has now turned up 13 laps, 14 as he comes by. And his best lap has been 172.029. That'll get it, buddy.
Jeff Bodine, he has teeth on that car on the front. I was just noticing down the back straightaway. It looks like it's ready to bite something in front of him. That's Rick Mast in the 75. Just in front of him in the yellow front end car there, the Remington Special. And both these guys need a good run here at Charlotte.
Well, Jeff didn't even make the show here last year. He crashed and hurt himself in practice before it. And younger brother Todd had to drive it. That is an interesting nose on that thing. Look at that. He does look like he's ready to bite at somebody. Vicious looking nose on Jeff Bodine's number 7.
Looks like one of the old Flying Tigers.
I like that. You know, stock cars always used to have those cute paint jobs. And they're getting away from it. This is neat.
As you watch Jeff Bodine, remember he's a former winner at Charlotte. And there you see Earnhardt in number 3. Don't need to tell you about him. You know the whole story on this man. 7-time Winston Cup champion, winner here in the 600. And he just seems invincible. Saw him take such a beating a couple of times already this year. He just keeps coming back with that same determination and grit that has marked him. He's made millions of dollars. In fact, the Charlotte Observer was talking about, what, $70 or $80 million he made a year or two ago. That hasn't fazed him one bit. He doesn't taste the gravy. All he wants to do is get out here and run for the top spot anytime he gets a chance on the track. We're going to take a quick break and be back with Buddy Baker, 3-time winner of this great 600 tomorrow, and Dr. Dick Berggren of Stock Car Racing Magazine in just a moment.
I remember Junior Johnson, believe it or not, and I tell you why, because he drove a Chevrolet. Everybody else had the factory back Dodge, factory back Ford. Junior had the only Chevrolet in the field, but I liked him because he was different. And I think that's one reason why we clicked when we got together. It was just like opposites attract. He wanted to be different, so did I.
And there you see the number 1, owned by the Earnhardt folks, driven by the 5-time winner of the 600, making his 26th consecutive start, Darrell Waltrip. He'll be coming from 43rd position, buddy.
You see him coming in. Yeah, I tell you what, don't count him out. Like you said, he's the winningest active driver here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and I wouldn't count him out. A lot of people say he's over the hill. Well, it's a nice hill to be over. 84 wins.
84. Last one in Darlington, 92. Track temperature. There's a story. Take a look right here. 12 noon, 4 p.m., 8 p.m. Just about a 30-degree drop by 8 o'clock at night. And, of course, the majority of this race will be run after the sun has set tomorrow.
And temperature has such an impact on the way the race car is handled. In general, as it gets cooler, the cars tend to tighten up. So what the mechanics will have to do is to try and guess what the weather is going to be like. They'll try to get the cars set up as close as they can for the start of the race, but they know every single crew here is going to have to change the car dramatically as the race winds down tomorrow.
That's part of the excitement of this race, is that you start in daylight in the heat of the day, then you end up at night around 10 o'clock bringing this one down. With the track temperature so critical in the way it affects the performance of these Winston Cup cars, the drivers need to get laps in at night. And that's why they did the thing they did on Thursday night between 7 and 8. It was a nighttime happy hour practice. And we got a chance to watch Darrell Waltrip and his race team as they tried to figure out ways to adjust to the changing conditions of Charlotte.
Well, it's Thursday night, and of course the race is a couple of days away yet, but what we're trying to find out is the change in the track, the temperature change. It adds grip to the track, and we have to make spring and shock adjustments accordingly. And in the afternoon with the added heat, the track's about 135 degrees. We're seeing a lot of buildup in tire pressure, but as the sun goes down and the track cools, it is changing the buildup in the tires, and we're adjusting the air pressure. That's going to be real critical as well.
What do you want me to do? Want to stay out or come back in? Come on in. I tell you, I'm good in 3 and 4. I mean, I'm really good there, but I'm still loose in the middle of 1 and 2. If I could just get that out of the car, I'd be all right. Car drive a little bit better with the fenders out. Everything we're doing is making it better. T-Shock did believe that they stopped me from being loose in the middle of 1 and 2. I'm not quite as good 3 and 4, but I felt I had something to give up there.
Well, Darrell, we just had an unofficial happy hour, so to speak. A lot of teams really working hard because of the time of day. What'd you guys learn?
Yeah, we're really good. We were as fast as Gordon. We were fast as Bobby Labonte. Tick faster on occasions. That was on 50-lap tires. I knew I had a good race car. Last night I didn't get a good lap in, and so I tried to make up for it today and really messed up my lap today qualifying. So we're in the back, but I tell you, this is a car that can win the race. It can come to the front just like I've seen it do the last few weeks. A lot of that was just me trying too hard to not have to take the champion's provisional because everybody gets on me so bad about it. But that's okay. Every now and then every champion takes one, and this is our first one in several weeks.
Pit road. Anxiousness, waiting, wondering what the car will have, how it will perform.
Jeremy Mayfield sits there and ready. You see the breathing tube there, that's fresh air from the outside pumped into the helmet so he gets cooler air as the car builds up 135 degrees inside.
And with more on temperature and what it means, including track temperature, here's Steve Burns.
Again, as you said, temperature means everything here for the racers and the race teams. A lot of the teams have just been on pit road getting tire temperatures from the Goodyear engineers. Well, this is a measurement device here that tells you how hot the track surface is. Let's take a look at it right now. All you have to do is point it at the track surface. Right now, the shade has just come over. It's saying 108, 107. But I tell you something, when that cloud went by, or before it came by, I had it down here, and it was reading as hot as 124, 125 degrees. So that gives you a good idea how the cloud covers and other conditions affect the performance of the race car. Let's go to Mike Hogwood.
Jeremy Mayfield was telling me that he's fairly happy with this car, but he's not given up on trying to make it even better yet here in this happy hour.
Yeah, we're just kind of fine-tuning it, you know, try not to mess up. You know, the track's real slick, real loose right now, but we're just trying a little bit of wedge in, a little bit of wedge out, and just trying to get me a good feel for it for tomorrow night. We're not going to change much here.
That's Jeremy Mayfield. Now to Randy Pemberton.
Well, Ricky Rudd has had an absolute dismal season here in 1998. He has not gotten a top 10 finish yet this year. He qualified 35th here at Charlotte. So you would think, wow, maybe he's not running well. Well, maybe he isn't. He's parked here in the garage area. The cover is on it. The crew is gone home. Ricky Rudd is either smart, confident, or he doesn't think he can make the car any better, but he is not here for happy hour. Claire B.
Well, as you know, luck plays a big part of it. The Andretti team this week pulled out of the drawer something that they've had for 3 years in a drawer. It's a bag of Lucky Rocks, and they shook it over the car, and then they qualified third. Let's talk to John Andretti. The hood's up, and they made a wedge adjustment. How's the car running, John?
The car's really good. Right now we're doing a little bit of guesswork because we're practicing the heat and what everybody's talking about. So I think we'll be in good shape with the SUV Pontiac. It feels good, and all the changes, it responds to everything. So if we don't hit it right off the beginning, we'll hit it by the end.
And a lot of good luck, too, right?
Thanks.
Let's go to Alan Bestwick.
You are watching Morgan Shepherd get into the Lowe's Chevrolet, and Mike Skinner stepping out of the machine. Remember, Mike has been beaten up somewhat over the last few months. He had a vicious crash down in Texas early in the month of April. Then he injured his shoulder and knee in. So just getting back into the race car for the first time last weekend, Mike is not sure about going the 600-mile distance. In fact, let's see if we can get a word with him. Mike, Morgan going to practice the car. Are you just hedging your bets on tomorrow night? How are you feeling?
I feel pretty good. You know, I still got a lot of soreness and stiffness, but Morgan's going to take a few laps and kind of stand by, and 600 miles a long ways to run with all the injuries that I've got. So, you know, if we feel good tomorrow night, we're going to go all the way. If not, he's going to stand by and get in there for me. So we thought he ought to take 2 or 3 laps in the thing in this happy hour just to make sure the seat fits and he don't hit his knees on the dash or anything like that.
How's your car?
It's been pretty good. You know, the thing's a little bit loose, but we're not going to work on it a whole lot.
All right, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Mike Skinner, let's go back upstairs.
There you see Mike Skinner, who sounds like an emergency room all by himself.
Well, he really is, Ken. He got hurt so badly. And he's really had 2 big wrecks. He had one in Atlanta where he hit the wall, then he had the one in Texas. Texas, he hit the wall so hard, he broke one wrist and cracked the other, trying to hang onto the steering wheel. He has been out of action for 6 weeks, just returned last week here at Charlotte Motor Speedway and ran his first race since Texas.
He'll start 34th.
This is a great shot. You're riding with Mark Martin right now as he goes out to run his happy hour right now. This is as good a shot as the driver sees. As he starts down the back straightaway, you can see Mark Martin coming up to speed. Those white lines right there are distant, pretty good ways apart. You can see how fast they're going under the car. Right down on the white line through turn 3. As he comes up on turn 4, he'll go out against the wall and then make a left turn back across the dog leg to make it as straight as he can down the front straightaway.
Mark Martin, who has just run 300 miles and won, right back out there preparing for the 600 tomorrow on TBS. He is currently 5th in points. He has won 3 races this year, all on new super speedways. But he's proven to be a winner here at Charlotte, winning the Winston last Saturday night, winning the CarQuest 300 this afternoon. And Buddy Baker was just saying, watch how that car tracks in the corner. Watch how it moves through the turn. Buddy?
Down into turn 3, you can see close to 200 miles an hour. When he turns, that car goes right down to the white line and stays there. A car that's ill handling will start moving across the racetrack. Now you're watching him cut the dog leg off, make it as straight through the front straightaway as he possibly can. As he starts up on this other car, he goes right to the bottom of the racetrack into turn 1. A stick trickle just in front of him there in the 90 car as they head down the back straightaway. Mark Martin's car is working very, very well.
At 172.734 miles per hour, 31.262, 31 and 262 one-thousandths of a second for Mark Martin's number 6 in preparation for tomorrow. And we hope you will join some 170,000 fans plus here at Charlotte for the running of the 39th annual Coca-Cola 600. It begins at 5:35 tomorrow. Jeff Gordon will lead the field down to the green flag, and we'll see Mark Martin coming from 5th position.
Well, Mark Martin right now is the 4th quickest guy that's been on this racetrack. The fastest so far in this happy hour, Joe Nemechek, who ran so very well in the Busch Grand National race you saw earlier this afternoon. Todd Bodine is 2nd quick, Rusty Wallace is 3rd, and Gordon is now 5th quick.
Mark Martin is 4th. When we went out to dinner last night, someone at the next table over, Dick, was saying, keep your eye on Mark Martin Sunday. And they're right. Martin has that winning momentum this year. And he also has something else. He's smart enough to know 2 things. What his car is capable of and what he's capable of as well.
As hard as I can go all the time, but I do always, you know, I raced for a long, I owned my own race car for a long time and raced short track racing. And I raced against Trickle and a bunch of guys, and a lot of races we raced were for $300 to win. And if you bent, you know, a $60 tie rod, you're going broke, man. You already had to buy, you know, some tires and some of this and some of that, and there was just no reason, you know, to run over the top of one another and tear stuff off the cars. You need to race your guts out and race hard, but race clean. You have to learn your limits, and I know that I have limitations. You know, I know that, you know, I have weaknesses, and I know that there's racetracks that I'm not a great driver at. And I know that in a few weeks, I'll go to a racetrack where I'm probably one of the best that will be out there at driving that track. But I don't run good at certain racetracks.
But there's no question, Martin's the man at new super speedways this season. Wins at Las Vegas, Texas, and California. And last week, keeping the momentum going by taking the Winston right here at Charlotte, at a track he clearly favors.
This is just an awesome racetrack and awesome fans, and Charlotte is just so cool.
Is he cool enough to win it?
I want to ask you guys something. Where is he bad at?
Yeah,
I've never been
too.
there.
Yeah, I've never seen a racetrack that he is not a contender to win something, and I've been wondering that too ever since listening to that soundbite. He is strong absolutely everywhere.
Well, we'll have to go to probably some little track in Arkansas that he ran years ago. Kevin LePage running for Rookie of the Year. Major story here. He's with Steve Burns right now.
Yeah, Ken, we talked at the top of the broadcast about how Kevin LePage had wrecked. He had a great qualifying effort. In 15th, his team's been hard at work under the car. Kevin, boy, you talk about lightning striking twice.
That's true, Steve. Last year, we qualified the 91 LJ Racing Chevrolet, and, well, got into the race. We were just riding along, and somebody dumped a rear end grease, and we got in the wreck. Smashed the car pretty bad. Come here this week, had another great qualifying effort, qualified 15th. Same car we had here last year, going out this morning, doing happy hour, trying to get a car, get it comfortable for me. Next thing I know, somebody else loses a rear end plug. We get caught up in the oil, and same place, turn 1 and 2, same car. I mean, just disappointing.
Well, you'll have to start from the rear of the field, but tell us what you guys are doing to the car right now. Guys swarming all over it.
I'll tell you, while I was doing my bush race with the Channel Lock people, these guys here were working, the First Union guys, the guys from Felix Sabatis and all the group with the First Union, LJ Racing people. They were trying to get this car together, try to make it half good for me for this happy hour. Right now the car's a little loose in the corners. We're doing some work with the rear end, trying to see if it'll help us. But I'll tell you, my hat's off to the guys from Felix, my race team, the First Union people, to give us a car here.
Well, Kevin, they're calling you to get back in the car. Good luck. Let's go to Mike Hogwood now.
Well, Steve, things over here at the Ward Burton machine are very, very calm. Ward, of course, starting on the front row, and you were telling me that you quit learning things, so you decided to park it for the rest of happy hour.
Yeah, the tracks are so much different right now than what it's going to be tomorrow around 6:30 at night. This track changes with cloud cover much less from the heat to when the sun goes down. So, we had some learning with this car like a lot of teams did here last week in the Open. We had another practice Thursday night. So we really had 2 or 3 practices in the evenings, and we're going to just try to get a good note and good setup from all the notes we've already got.
We were just talking a moment ago. You've got it figured out what it takes to win this 600, especially tomorrow night, starting from the front row.
Well, we can do it. I haven't forgot how to do it. The team's been giving me some good cars. I don't know whether we'll get it going tomorrow or not. main thing we need to run is 500 miles. From that 500-mile mark, we need to be in the lead lap with 100 miles to go. Right there, we can win that race. That's what we got to do.
Ward Burton thinks he can do it tomorrow, Ken.
He's going to be a contender for sure. There you see that First Union car. Where it says First Union now, that's a big name. That's a big sponsor. And all these teams have big name sponsors on the back. It'll say DuPont. It'll say STP, Miller Beer, Valvoline, Interstate Batteries. It'll say Remington Arms, Quality Care Ford, Budweiser, Mobil One. And there's this one car up until now that said Little Joe's Auto Chevrolet. That's it, Little Joe's. That was the major sponsor on this car until this morning. Little Joe's. It's sort of like a throwback to short track racing, buddy. All the stuff you remember, there was always a Little Joe's Auto Parts or something running on those tracks. The one car that had it here was that number 91.
But isn't it wonderful with a good crew chief like Doug Richards working on that race car to be able to work your way into a chance that he has in this 600-mile race? It still proves the little guy with a lot of determination can go anywhere with the dream.
And the word is that Felix Sabetis is ready to move that dream forward. Fast is Joe Nemechek at 174.661. Bodine second at 173.182. And Wallace 173.055.
The Southern 500 in 1965 at Darlington. My dad was fortunate enough to win the race. But the biggest thing was going home to Camden that night to our home and seeing what looked like to be the entire town of Camden, South Carolina, there in our front yard and at our house to welcome my dad back. That victory virtually clinched the championship for him that year. To see that support, and I think that stuck out in my mind then, and I really realized that my dad was something extremely special to a lot of people.
And he still is extremely special to a lot of people. Ned Jarrett up on the roof, spotting this afternoon for his grandson. He was following Jason the Jet up there. He isn't broadcasting. He's working with those guys, and he's pretty proud of Jason. Jason had a pretty good run with 300 and then got caught up in the wall. But here's Dale, his own son, who won that Daytona 500 and dedicated it to his father, Ned, that first time around. It was some moment. Well, they're having a pretty good day, and they've been doing a lot of testing out here, Dick.
Yeah, they've run an awful lot of laps. Dale Jarrett has been around this speedway 43 times this afternoon trying to get that car exactly right. It's not been quite as fast as they have wanted to see it, but this is such a solid team. They have won 2 out of the last 4 Point Winston Cup races that have been run here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Their team car, their sister car, number 28, went home, didn't make the show, so everybody's ganging up on this number 88 to try and get it to the front, get the best possible performance they can out of it.
It will start in the 10th position. And what kind of a speed has it turned out this afternoon? Let's just check the numbers on Jarrett. On about a 170.
Yeah, 172.254 so far. But you know, it's not really all that critical. He is surely in the hunt. The most important thing is what they learn about the cars this afternoon and the ability to adjust the car as the race unfolds. That sun starts going down tomorrow afternoon. We watch the crews now pushing the car back into the garage area. That's the most critical part of today.
The 1996 winner of the 600, Dale Jarrett. Here's Alan Bestwood.
Ken, a lot of what's happening on the racetrack right now is what we call scuffing tires. I want you to look here. This is a tire that just came off Todd Bodine's car. You can see it's a little rough on the surface instead of kind of glossy like a brand new what we call sticker tire is. Well, he's taken this tire out onto the racetrack. He's run it for just a couple of laps, not even enough to take some of the dimples off it where it came out of the rubber molds at the Goodyear factory. This does, it kind of puts the tire what we call a heat cycle. Makes it a little more durable, a little more reliable as far as its performance on the car, its predictability of performance than a brand new tire might. A lot of scuffing of tires happening right now. Todd's just come in scuffing his 3rd set of brand new Goodyears. Let's go to Claire B. Lang.
Well, just to show you folks at home how intense it is here, Terry Labonte was in 3 times, didn't even pull his window net down to talk to his crew chief. Rusty Wallace has pulled in this morning with 8 minutes left in practice. He couldn't get the left front where he liked it. 8 minutes left in practice this morning. They think they got it. Now they got the left rear tire off, and they are working frantically right here in Rusty Wallace's pit. Let's go to Mike Hogwood.
I'm at a part of the garage where folks are, I guess, happy. Ken Schrader's car is in here and parked until tomorrow, so too Dale Earnhardt's. Now, you'll notice on the back of these two cars, these orange bumpers, that's for a special $1 million bonus for drivers and fans. It's called the No Bull 5, and Earnhardt and Schrader are a part of that. To Steve Burns.
Thanks, Mike. Of course, we're talking about racing here in the NASCAR Winston Cup garage. Todd Bodine sits inside his car. But, Todd, I got to ask you, really, first things first, a brand-new father this week. How's your baby, Ashlyn?
Ashlyn's doing great. Lynn's doing great. Mother, she was a trooper through the whole thing. I'm proud of her, and pretty exciting. It gives you a different perspective on what life's all about.
All right, good luck, Todd. Also, his car owner, Bob Hancher, is very busy. He'll fly to Indy tonight. He's got 3 cars in the Indianapolis 500. After the Indy 500, he'll fly back here to Charlotte. Let's go to Randy.
Well, Alan Bestwick talked moments ago about teams scuffing tires. That is what you do if your chassis is good at this particular time. Right now, they're waiting back here in the garage area for the Skittles car to come in and Ernie Irvin aboard. They have had chassis troubles all during this practice session. They have changed a multitude of things. 2 rear shocks. They're getting ready to come in and change another right front shock. They have also changed the sway bar in the front of the car, done a multitude of chassis adjustments. Here comes Ernie rolling in now. They have not had the opportunity to scuff tires so far here this afternoon. They only have a little less than 15 minutes left. Ken Squire.
Jeremy Mayfield leads the Winston Cup point standings. Jeremy Mayfield will come out from 12th position tomorrow. As you look at the point standings at the present time, Terry Labonte is there. There are still no wins for Mayfield, and many say tomorrow and tomorrow night will be his time.
Well, they've had 3 races here so far in the last week at Charlotte Motor Speedway. They had a qualifier that he was in. He won that. Then he had the Winston Open. He won that. He's won 2 out of the 3 races he has run so far here at Charlotte this week. Got the same car for tomorrow night's race.
The one thing that sticks out on me right there, oh, look at this. We have a hood that's gone up on Jerry Nadeau. That, you can tell he was up to speed. Look out, right around the top of the car. Bent it in very severely.
Probably bent the roof, too, didn't it, buddy?
Yeah, the roof has all been up. You can see where it flapped back there. I tell you what, visibility gets down to a minimum when you get that thing comes up like that, especially if you're tall as I am. I had that happen in Atlanta one time, and I had to turn my head sideways and look just in the middle part of the windshield there to see where I was going.
How fast were you going when you pulled that caper?
Well, there's a long story to that. I was all the way up to top speed, and I had a neck problem for a long time, and when that thing hit on top, it hit on top of my head, and I never had a neck problem again.
Well, there's Jerry Nadeau. He's one of the candidates for Rookie of the Year. He has had 1 top finish. LePage has 4, Kenny Irwin 5. Kenny Irwin has failed to qualify for this race. So the battle for Rookie of the Year will be between the 91 of LePage and the 13 of Jerry Nadeau out of Connecticut. Nadeau. Rusty Wallace, the number 2 car.
He's currently the 3rd fastest car out there, Ken, so he's having a good day, but he is changing. These guys are working, and they'll work up till the last second. Never happy. Rusty Wallace worked every minute that he can. See that dollar sign there on the window? That's another sign that he's going for $1 million tomorrow. Finished 5th in Daytona.
Won the Coca-Cola 600 in 1990, but lately it's been a long time between wins for Rusty. 39 to be exact, going back to last year. It's the longest drought in his career since he was a rookie. Waiting. We spoke to him about it. This is a drought he needs to end.
Close doesn't count in this game, I know that, but God, we've been so close so many times. I mean, second at Rockingham, where I led almost all day long, and then we go to Bristol and lead all day long and blow an engine right at the end, you know. And we've, you know, and I think you look at our laps led, we've led more laps this year than we've ever led. So we've led a bunch, but just haven't hit the victory lane yet. And that concerns me a little bit, but not a whole lot, because I'm looking at the points. We're better than we've ever been in the points. You take the problem we had a couple weeks ago in California out of the picture. I mean, if I wouldn't have had that problem, I'd been sitting here with a big, big lead over everybody. But again, if doesn't count in this sport. So I do want to get a win real quick. I've got a car here at Charlotte that I can win this 600 with. I know I can. I finished second in this race last year. I got a better car this year than I had last year, so I'm pretty confident.
One factor this year that may help Rusty Wallace get that win, he has a teammate for the first time, and a good one. the points leader, Jeremy Mayfield. And it's a partnership that's working well for both men.
I am real happy with our two-car operation. I was real skeptical about it before because I've just seen so many multi-car teams race each other instead of the competitors. They can tell you they don't. Buddy, I've been in a couple restaurants and having a beer with these drivers, and they'll say, oh, I'm so sick of this, and I'm so sick of that. And then when you put them in front of a camera, they go, oh, I love my team, you know. They're supposed to say that. The one thing that Jeremy and I got a crystal clear understanding of, we are not going to race each other. We're going to race the rest of the competitors. If it's Rusty and Jeremy going right to the end, side by side at the end of the race, yeah, we'll race each other. And that's what our car owners want us to do, and that's what our sponsors want us to do. And this is a great deal. I got to tell you, I hated two-car teams, and now I love it.
Well, it sure is working for the both of them, with Mayfield up on top. Right now, Wallace is third quickest at 173.055 in full battle armament, the 12 and the 2 car for the 600. Coming up tonight, the Atlanta Braves will host the Chicago Cubs at Turner Field, Atlanta. They haven't been very kind hosts. They beat them ragged in 4 games, and they're 9 up in front in the East. Hey, it's going to be fun tonight at 7:05. Cubs against America's team on TBS, the Superstation. Happy hour coming to conclusion. Number 94, Bill Elliott's car on the track. And what a story here. He just keeps on keeping on.
He has had such a tough time, Ken. The last 2 races he has been in, last 2 point races, he's been in the wall, upside down, on fire, in both cases through no fault of his own. He has been beaten up, and to add to all of that, his father was operated on this week, brain surgery for apparent cancer. Bill Elliott has just returned from a Houston hospital to race with us this weekend.
And the good report is about George Elliott. Things are very optimistic. And whenever you see Bill Elliott and say what a great guy and how many awards he's won for sportsmanship and the most liked, you can credit one person, and that's George Elliott down there in Dawsonville, Georgia. What a great guy. And more on that story from Claire B. Lang.
Well, we're here in the pit where Bill Elliott has just pulled out. He is testing the car today, but Thursday night at the secret practice, it was Jeff Green who was inside the car testing. How does the car look?
It's the first time I ever drove a Ford, and Mike Beeman and Joe and all those guys was good enough to let me fill in for Bill while he was gone, and the car's really working good, I thought. I think we gained on it for Bill, and he's pretty hurt right now, but drivers are pretty hard-headed. They're not going to get out, so I can believe that because I'd be the same way. But again, I'm here to help if they need me. I hope they don't need me because I know he wants to be in there, but I ask him every time, if he's feeling okay, and he said, yeah, so I guess he's doing all right.
Standing by just in case they need somebody to help with practice or driving on Sunday, it's this guy, Jeff Green. Let's go to Mike Hogwarts.
Dale Jarrett's just completed his happy hour activities, through for the day, now ready to run the 600. Feel good?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, this is a difficult race to prepare for because practice so much in the sunlight and then race pretty much at night. So just by what we know, I think we're in pretty good shape.
Dale Jarrett starts 10th tomorrow. Randy Pemberton.
John Andretti has pulled his STP Pontiac in the garage. John, what did you accomplish at happy hour? Are you happy or smiling?
We're real happy. The STP Pontiac just keeps getting better and better, but in this happy hour, since it's so much different for the race, trying to make the car real adjustable, and we found some things to try.
Okay, John Andretti smiling, said his car is absolutely great. To Ellen Bestwick.
Now we're just moving posture here as they push Johnny Benson's car in behind us. Jeff Burton has just climbed from his machine. We showed you the Thursday night kind of stealth happy hour practice. He was quickest in that run. How's your car this afternoon, Jeff?
It's pretty good. This track changes an awful lot from this morning until this afternoon. You have to make a decision about how much you want it to chase it. And for us to be perfect right now, we're not going to be right during the night. So what we used this practice for was to make some changes to try to see what to do if we're loose, what to do if we're tight. The car's not like I'd want it right now. If we were going to race like this time, it's not like I want it, but we're not going to race it this time. So this practice almost, you wish you hadn't have done it because now you would think you're not good, where this morning we were really good. And it's just a crapshoot. You just don't know what to do.
Good luck tomorrow night. That's Jeff Burton. Let's go to Claire Lang.
Well, I'm standing by here with Terry Labonte, hands on his hips. How does the car look?
Well, we ran pretty well in practice, really. We're pretty happy with it. So
you know, of course, it's a little hotter right now than it's going to be race time tomorrow. So we're a little bit loose right now, which is probably what we need to be. At least I hope it is.
Here's Ken Squire.
Well, we've just completed happy hour. It's over. The candy store will open tomorrow at 5:35, and you can bet your boots will be here, Baker, right? Along with Dick Berggren. Can't wait for this one.
I cannot wait.
Well,
Joe Nemechek, by the way, was the quickest car out there at the last run.
And Todd Bodine was right behind him. Rusty Wallace still third quick. Sterling Marlin snuck in there. He's fourth fast, and Mark Martin's fifth.
Say, we're going to be interviewing some of these guys, so you stay with us. In fact, we've got two very special commentators that will join us in just a few moments. So don't go away.
I'm just really excited to be a part of NASCAR Winston Cup racing. I had no idea 5 years ago that the sport was going to grow as fast as it has just in the 5 or 6 years that I've been a part of it. So, and I love it. You know, that to me is something I'm just as excited about, seeing the sport grow and seeing it go to the next level and seeing the new fans, the new facilities. I'm just as excited about that as I am winning races and winning championships. So, you know, it's great to be a part of it, and I hope that, you know, I can be a part of the future of NASCAR. I know that it takes, just like it takes a team of people to win races and championships, it takes a team of people to help the sport grow, and I hope that, you know, I can continue to be a part of that team.
6 fastest today at 172.717 miles per hour. On the pole for the 5th time, the 2-time and defending champion of the 600, Jeff Gordon, is standing by with Mike Hogwood.
Well, Jeff Gordon right now is involved in some very serious conversations with his crew chief, Ray Evernham. Happy hour may be over as far as on the track is concerned, but it's not near over here in the Gordon part of the garage. They are working very hard on this car, and Evernham and Gordon, as we said, are in some very deep and serious conversations about the changes they need to make to this race car. We'll try to get Jeff Gordon in just a moment when they're through talking strategy for tomorrow's race. To Claire Beelang.
We're standing by here where Bill Elliott has just climbed out of the car. You qualified 33rd. How is that car running? And more importantly, how are you feeling?
I feel pretty decent. You know, every day seems to be getting a little bit better, but I read a quote Earnhardt said, take a couple of Advil and you'll be ready to go race. But, you know, it's a little bit different. You know, I think the older you get, you know, the harder it takes to get used to these hard deals. And I had 2 in a row there, and it really messed up my back and stuff. But I think I'll be okay. You know, the car's working pretty decent. You know, we've been struggling with it. You know, I've been gone a couple of days, and just the one thing after another, this team, it seems to get down, but we'll be okay at the end of the race. You know, I got a lot of confidence in these guys. I'm sure they'll put a lot of good things together. It's McDonald's crew can do it.
And you'll be wearing a flak jacket tomorrow?
Yeah, we're going to run a deal tomorrow. It'll help me out a little bit, but at least one good thing about it, it starts 6:15 tomorrow night, so that's the good side.
All right, there you go, Bill Elliott. Let's go back up top.
He is so representative of what this sport is all about. From up around Anacolola Falls in Georgia, just a common guy who does such uncommon deeds. Broken wrist, broken foot, back in trouble, and says he'll give it the best he can every time.
And he will indeed give it the best he can. Of all the injuries, though, the things that are bothering him the most are his feet, particularly his heels. The crew, it seems as if every time I've gone and talked to that crew over the last week and I ask them, how's the car, they'll just look at me as if to say, who cares about the car? The only thing that matters to us is our driver, and that is who they are worried about. The car is almost irrelevant in that 94 pit right now.
But what he continues to say is, I'm going to go out and do the best I can, and that's why the fans love him so much. Here's Alan Bestwick.
All right, Ken, I'm with Johnny Benson, who has finished practicing his Cheerios Ford, and we're just sitting here talking about what it's going to be like tomorrow. Johnny, what you learned today that you can have some opinion about tomorrow from?
I'll tell you what, I surely hope we learned more this morning than we did today. The track's pretty slick right now, and, you know, but we're not going to start till about 6:30, so it's just a matter of trying to weigh out all the options from this morning to now. But I'll tell you what, Steve Mail and the guys, they've changed his whole car from Thursday's practice. It was really bad, and obviously we're going to qualify well, and, man, they down here with the torches Friday. Changing A-frames, A-frame pivot points, and the rear end, things of this nature, and those guys are a tremendous job. It's like a different race car.
And they are still working on it around us as we speak. So Johnny Benson got a long way to go tomorrow, but he had a pretty quick car in the final happy hour practice.
Grand Rapids, Michigan. He'll start 39th. That's Johnny Benson Jr. with that Cheerio car. Well, let's go to Mike Hogwood right now. He's with Jeff Gordon.
All right, Jeff, the story is, how did this car run after your teammate put it in the wall there?
Well, first I want to thank Terry for getting in it. You know, I certainly made a mistake this morning, didn't get here on time, and, you know, he filled in for me. We need to fill this engine out. Car was driving good for him, and he ran over something on going down the front straightaway and blew the right front, and he got in the wall. And I tell you what, he's a talented driver, because I saw it on tape, and he should have destroyed this race car. So just to have it here, the car is great now. No problems at all. They fixed everything. Car drove just like it did, you know, the last couple days, and I'm real happy with it.
All right, Jeff Gordon says his teammate saved this race car, and it's ready to go tomorrow, Ken.
All right, there he is, the 94 and 97 champion. Won his first Winston Cup race back in 94 in this very 600. Will it be a breakthrough for someone else tomorrow? And you'll have to be with us to find out. All right, we've got our ace reporter ready down there. Hello, ace reporter. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, who are you going to interview first?
Myself.
All right, so go ahead, interview yourself. That would be perfect.
Oh, I think everybody's wanting to know about happy hour, how it went. I'll tell you what, it was a real tough happy hour because the track's extremely hot. We brought all the cars out this afternoon. Everybody I've talked to has been real loose. Now you got a bunch of nervous people down here because it's been so hot and so slick. We're afraid about overshooting on the chassis setup for tomorrow night. Cars could get real tight. You'll see a lot of guys making big adjustments. I'll tell you what, my car was so loose when I started, I thought I had a different car underneath me, guys. So we've been adjusting. I got the car feeling really good right now in this condition, although I am still a little free on the tire sheets, and I'm hoping that's going to get neutralized when the sun goes down and everything gets cool. So a lot of action going down here in the pits. Everybody's got their plug checks, their tire pressures are set. All systems go for tomorrow. But I'll guarantee you, there's going to be a lot of guys camped out the night in front of the motorhomes or at their houses on telephones thinking, hey, crew chief, what do you think about this? Hey, crew chief, what do you think about that? I know I'm one of them's going to be doing that.
Hey, Baker.
Yeah, I want to talk to Rusty a little bit. I was asking Rusty, as everybody was away at break there, which corners were really going to be the key tomorrow night, and he had an interesting observation.
I gave you the best answer I could, buddy. Buddy asked me, he said, you think it's turn 3 and 4? I said, well, I don't know, buddy. I think it's turn 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because turn 1, it's tough to get into turn 1. And once you get in the middle of turn 1, it's pretty easy to get off of it. Turn 3 is hard to get in and hard to get off of. So, but I think you're going to see most passing coming off of turn 4 and most passing coming off of turn 2. And you're going to see a lot of guys getting underneath the car, coming off of turn 4 and racing them down the tri-oval and trying to outrun them getting into turn 1.
Hey, Rusty.
I guarantee you.
Rusty, you're in big trouble.
Why is that?
Because Kenny Wallace is one of the great interviewers of all time. Now you've got the opportunity. Go find somebody to interview. I mean, everyone says Kenny Wallace is golden on interviews. Rusty, you got to find somebody.
Oh, gosh, you guys are putting pressure on me.
That's
I'm a
right.
racer.
I mean, this is pressure.
I can talk. Okay,
all right.
Turn me off. Turn me off. I go find somebody.
Okay, well, we're not going to turn you off.
You
just
follow
wander
me?
around.
Yeah,
we'll follow you around.
Okay, follow me.
We'll follow you
Come
around.
through here.
Okay, we're going to go with you. All right, there he goes.
I'll find somebody.
All right, he'll probably find Kenny, and that'll take at least 2 hours. We can't get him in the garage. Wait a minute. Hold on right there. We'll be right back. Where's DW?
I'm right here, and I'm getting ready to talk to Jerry Nadeau.
Oh, you are?
Yes, I am.
All right. Go ahead. You're on.
Well, this is one of those things that everybody dreads and always says, how can it happen? I want you to take a look at the roof of this 13 car here. Now, this baby has not been upside down today. It's been on all 4 wheels all day long. But what happened was, happy hour, everybody's in a panic, hurrying up and getting things done, making changes, buffing tires, changing springs, blah, blah, blah. And in the course of all that action, this young man right here probably had about the biggest scare he's had all week. What happened, bud?
Oh, man, this is unfortunate for us. We were running good, and apparently the hood pins just weren't put in, and went out of pit road, and the hood came up, damaged the car. We're going to get it fixed, though. I mean, we got a guy, body man, that's going to come down tonight and actually going to be working all morning tomorrow fixing the hood.
Well, folks, that's part of the whole panic about happy hour. You only got 60 minutes. I'm working, man. Don't bother me right now. I'm working. Hey, you're not trying to take my job, are you? Let's go over to Rusty while I get this kid straightened out here.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, guys, I've got a couple of good ones here, Mike Waltrip and Dick Trickle. And this guy right here, I could tell you a lot of stories about Trickle. We used to race back in the old days. I mean, tons of laps. This guy's got more experience than anybody I know. So if anybody's got a good analogy, what's going on at Charlotte today, I guarantee you Dick does. I told you all about my car, how it was real loose when I first went out. Let's talk to that guy that's got another Ford and see what he thinks.
Well, I think my team must have messed mine up because I about wrecked the first time out. So I won about 2 laps on new tires. It felt good. In the 3rd lap, I about wrecked. And they did put a couple shocks on it. But I think tomorrow night, we're going to have to shoot from the hip, don't you?
I think so. Now, Baker, just goes to show you I was right. I told you that I felt like somebody changed my car completely during practice while I was up in the, hey, I was up in the condo with my wife watching practice, okay? I know we didn't touch that car, just put a motor in it, and that's about it. But I swore they changed all the shocks and springs. Trickle just said the same thing. Let's go to Mike Waltrip and see what Mike's got to say about the way his car's helped.
Well, we're like y'all. We were real loose, and but last year I think I wound up 3rd or 4th on the speed chart on the Saturday afternoon practice, and pushed so bad Sunday night that my car, I couldn't even drive it. So I've been sliding around out there just now, and I was real happy about it. I said, this is manageable, and surely it'll be cooler by 6 o'clock when we start that race tomorrow night. And this track's very temperamental. When the weather changes, it changes a lot. It's probably like when Dick used to run on the board tracks.
I hear you. I tell you, they told me for a while that I was pretty high in the speed charts. I hope I'm pretty low, so I start out pretty neutral in my chassis setup. But, Ken, I've had a couple good ones here. Back up to you.
Okay. All right. All right. You got a chance against Kenny Wallace, that's for sure. All right, let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Coca-Cola 600. $2.5 million here, folks. It'll be Jeff Gordon and Ward Burton in row 1, John Andretti, Rusty Wallace himself in that row 2, Mark Martin and Bobby Labonte for row 3.
Dick Trickle's going to start in 7th position. Gary Bradbury, big surprise. He'll start in 8th. Rick Bass, Dale Jarrett. Randy LaJoie in the number 50 car has a good starting spot, as does Jeremy Mayfield.
Number 1 in points. How about this group, buddy?
Well, you see Jeff Bodine and Kenny Schrader there, Kevin LePage, Rich Bickle, David Green, and Ernie Irvin. Look for him to come to the front. I think he's going to the front tomorrow night.
Outside of row 9, getting back to row 10, you've got Lake Speed and Todd Bodine. Jimmy Spencer put on another great show today. You can be sure he'll do it tomorrow. The rookie, Jerry Nadeau, will start 22nd. Then Steve Grissom had a great qualifying run. Further back, you got Derek Cope and Joe Nemechek.
Nemechek had a terrific run today. Robert Presley, Dale Earnhardt starting way back in the field. That doesn't matter. He can win from almost anywhere. Kyle Petty, Sterling Marlin had a good practice session this afternoon.
How about Elliott Sadler from the Grand National ranks, buddy?
Everybody expects him to do well, but the main thing, he's going to get out of 600 miles a lot of great seat time. Bill Elliott. Let's give a call to Bill Elliott. He could do it all tomorrow night.
And Michael Waltrip, Wood Brothers car, so successful here in the past. Bobby Hamilton will be one to watch for sure. Of course, Kenny Wallace. And then DW back there in 43rd position at provisional spot, but he says he can come all the way. You heard him say that, Baker.
Well, only thing I tell DW, work on the sunglasses. They are ugly. I don't know where you buy them, but they're ugly, Darrell.
And for some that didn't make it, there's the 28 car, Kenny Irwin being rolled back in yesterday after they failed to qualify. That has got to be hard on Robert Yates, as it is on Kenny Irwin. And there goes the 28 down the road, headed to the next one.
It's the first time since 1980 a team Robert Yates is associated with has failed to make a Winston Cup race.
And Dave Marcus is not in this one, and that's a great sadness. And Dan Pardis from down in Daytona Beach, and Billy Standridge, who so many people think has such a future. Morgan Shepherd, Hut Strickland, Andy Hillenberg didn't make it. And Randy McDonald from up in Oshawa, Ontario, Canada. So we'll take a commercial break and be back with a summation of what's happening here today at Charlotte and what will happen tomorrow in the 39th Coca-Cola. Don't miss next Sunday on TBS the premiere of NASCAR at 50. Good to go. See NASCAR like you've never seen it before and celebrate 50 years of the greatest sport on earth. And one of the key players in the center ring, Darrell Waltrip.
Hey, guys, guess what? I found somebody that might be as messed up as I am because they're asking me what to do. So I found these guys laying in the floor over here, and I said, what are y'all doing? They said, well, we tried this, tried that. What's the problem, Kyle? What seems to be going on here tonight?
We got the same problem you've got.
Bad sunglasses?
We can run. We can run down the straightaway. We just can't go through the corners. That's our problem. And they, for some reason, they still got these 2 corners here at Charlotte.
Do you think the track is the worst it's been, or is it just that same old, same old? You know, we say that every time we come here, but how's your car acting?
You know, I've always said this would be a great place to come if they had a decent racetrack. They just never built a racetrack here.
Is there any racetracks you like? Hey, just answer me that.
Not a single racetrack. There is a dog track in Daytona I kind of like. I do like that place. Where's Buddy Baker at?
Buddy's up there telling Richard Petty stories. Let me go over and see let's find out what Rusty's doing, guys.
Hey, Darryl, how you doing over there? I'll tell you what, you guys been rambling about the racetrack, but I got a cat right here that's leading the point stand. Just happens to be my partner. And I'll tell you, I can tell you, we've been chasing our cars all week long. But, hey, we got to like this racetrack because we're here. I mean, it pays 180 points to win this thing. This cat's leading the points. I'm running fourth. I blew a motor in California. He took the lead. And if anybody could, I'm glad he did, I'll tell you that. But, hey, you know, let's get back to sunglasses real quick. I think the sunglasses are cool on you, Darryl. Those Oakleys are hot, okay? So anybody get on you. Jeremy, what do you think about the track? Everybody's complaining about went real loose. It's made a complete change. I feel that way. A lot of guys do, but what do you think?
Man, I feel the same way. It's this morning was good. You know, both of us were good this morning, and come back this afternoon and just got really loose. And I think a lot of drivers are talking about that. And you know, we'll just have to get over here in the trailer and figure out what we're going to do now, won't we?
Yeah, I think we do. I tell you what, it's we're going to be a lot of talking going on tonight. I think. What do you think?
It's time to go.
Hey, debrief time, guys. If I'm going to win, the partner's dragging away.
Debrief time.
It's
Now,
back,
wait a minute.
It's back up to you, Squire.
You're
back up
supposed
to you.
Be the commentator.
I am. I'm commentating. I learned everything from you.
All right, well, get yourself in there in the debrief and let us know.
Ooh, he got me.
What are you doing?
I like the sunglasses.
Thank you very much.
I got a pair just like that.
Look, how's your car? That's the question.
Man, I'll tell you what. My car is, you can see he's trying to get me over
yeah,
there.
here we go.
Get this stuff figured out. My car's not.
Look.
My car's perfect. How's yours?
Mine's great for a Chevrolet.
My car
Hey, we're gonna
great
have to spread out here. What side of the garage you want to work on now? We can't work same side of the street.
Well, everybody's left. They're all in their motorhomes. They're all drinking Miller Lite.
Here we are.
Me and you left.
Here we are making the big bucks walking down through here talking to each other. I don't know if we're going to last long in this business.
We look like a bunch of idiots in those sweaty uniforms.
Yeah.
I'm selling beer and you're selling oil.
Hey, I got some good oil, man.
I got some good beer. I got some good oil, too.
I know one thing for sure. They will not mix.
Cars, spark plugs. I got it all.
Hey, what do you think about the weather for tomorrow night? You think that'll be a big factor as far as fatigue goes? Do you worry about that?
I
just wonder.
Honestly, now. It's been pretty hot here. I've got one of the cool boxes in my car, which definitely helps you a ton, no doubt about that. I think a lot of guys have got that. I think the thing that's got everybody confused. I mean, my car feels pretty good. It's a little slower than I think it should be. But I look at the board, I'm sitting first or second quick, so I don't know. I think everybody's hoping that the track's going to tighten up a whole bunch because everybody's been real loose and nobody can get tight.
Well, let me ask you something. You wouldn't want to take me over and show me that box, would you? That ice box thing? My car's going to do real good, but I'm worried about how hot I've been getting. I've been getting really hot.
I don't think age has anything to do with it, Darryl, so if you're thinking that, don't think that at all, okay?
Okay.
I mean, I got sweat right here, just like you do.
I saw a lot of... I saw a lot of guys in that bush race today, young boys. I mean, they were sweating big time. They looked tired to me.
I think they were sweating because they weren't handling real good. I don't think it was the heat. Squire, back up to you, okay?
Get us out of this mess.
Now, one of you should give us a commercial break. Now, which one's going to do it? You should throw to commercial.
Oh, yeah, well...
Live from the Charlotte International Motor Speedway, it's to a commercial break.
Oh,
I think I did that right.
Wow.
I do that right or wrong?
Very close.
I didn't know. Are we live?
Close.
Really? I thought we were taping this.
No.
The most exciting day that I've ever had in racing was the day that we won the championship in Atlanta, and my brother won the race. And we made the victory lap together around the Atlanta Motor Speedway. And I will never forget that. That was the most awesome day that I've ever had in racing for us, and as two brothers, to be able to accomplish what we'd accomplished that day.
Well, there it is, a city growing up here just north of Charlotte, North Carolina, the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Some 400 or 500 acres, 170,000 plus will be here, and they keep adding grandstands. It is some facilities.
It's just amazing to watch this thing grow during Coca-Cola 600 week. You come here a week or so ahead of time, and there's almost no one here, but tonight there are going to be a lot of folks that are going to be staying here in the infield. The bonfires will burn, and they'll have the charcoal grills going, and they're all going to have a great time. They might even drink a little beer. That's a possibility.
They might do that indeed. Buddy Baker was here for the first 29 years. He was on that track competing. As you see this thing continue to grow and all of these people gathering to have such a fine time, to make this such a festive occurrence, your thoughts about coming back to Charlotte on this Memorial Weekend?
Just watching the people here, that this is an event plus a spectacle. It's one of the greatest races that anyone will ever see. TBS being here will bring it to millions of people across the country, which makes the sport grow and grow and grow. 190,000 people will pack themselves in here tomorrow afternoon to see this great race tomorrow night. And it only makes the sport stronger every time we come to Charlotte. The great facility, and and I mean, it's just incredible to walk into this racetrack and see the facility like it is, these great drivers, and Jeff Gordon, hey, leading them off tomorrow.
And one of the men that made it was Buddy Baker in the early days. In the mid-days, it was men like Darrell Waltrip, and he's with a guy who has certainly made a mark on it in the last decade. Darrell?
Yeah, real quiet, y'all. I'm down here at the Jeff Gordon. I'm at the back of his truck, and I'm number 42 in line.
And interview him?
If y'all can just hang with me here a minute, I'm going to slip right up here and talk to him. But there's a lot of people that are in the way. Could y'all excuse me a minute? Pardon me. Pardon me. Excuse me. Pardon me. Pardon me. I have an appointment. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Pardon me. I have an appointment with Jeff. Pardon me, ma'am. I'm serious. I have a very serious. No, that's not a good story. Hey, buddy, what's going on here anyway?
I don't know. I don't know why all these people are here. I didn't call a press conference or anything.
Well, that seems that way. Listen, how many 600s have you won?
Two.
Going
Not
for
near
three?
as many as you.
Going for three, though, right?
Trying to go for three.
And you won 5 poles in a row?
Yeah.
That's big. You know, that breaks records.
I tell you what, it surprises the heck out of me.
Well, what do you think about the IndyCar race tomorrow?
Well, the IndyCar race was on today, but the IRL race is on tomorrow.
Well, whatever. They all got plenty. What do you think about them cars with the wings on the back?
How
about Eldora?
Yeah, I think it's pretty neat. You know, we'll all be watching what those guys are doing for some of those open-wheel sprint car guys hopefully pull that thing off.
How was your car this afternoon? Everybody's talking loose. How was yours?
Loose by myself, tight behind other cars, but I think we were pretty good. You know, we made some adjustments, and the track's not going to be anything like this tomorrow night, so that's what we're trying to guess is for tomorrow night.
Okay, here's the big question right here.
All right.
Are you having fun?
I'm having a great time. I've had one of the best days of my life.
No, good man. All right. Go get some rest. Let's get out here and leave this cat alone. Back up to you guys.
All right. Jeff Gordon and company. They'll come off the pole trying to win it for a third time. The 600 here on TBS tomorrow.
NASCAR 98 Road to the Championship on TBS has been brought to you by Holiday Inn Express, who invites you to stay smart. By Mobil 1 Synthetic Motor Oil. Nothing outperforms Mobil 1. By Degree, the body heat activated antiperspirant and deodorant. And by Midas Auto System Experts, a better system for you and your car.
Back at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, the horseshoes are out, barbecues are ready to flicker, and they're going to have a great night here in the infield at the Charlotte Motor Speedway and all around this great facility as they await the start tomorrow shortly after 6 p.m. Eastern. And if you're not going to be here physically, we hope you'll be with us on TBS to enjoy the 39th 600. Let's get some closing thoughts, predictions, if they will. How do you fellas feel about tomorrow's race? Beginning with Alan Bestwick.
Well, Ken, I feel like tomorrow night's race will be a very competitive one. I think there'll be a lot of drivers up front for most of the 600 miles in good position to win. But I think when it comes time for the checkered flag to wave, Mark Martin will have worn him out again. He's on a roll. I look for him to be in victory lane tomorrow night. Let's go to Randy Pemberton.
Well, I think that's a great prediction, but I'm going to go another way. Another Ford driver, though. Jeremy Mayfield, driver of the Mobil 1 Ford. Winston Cup points leader, never won. He's been very, very consistent lately on these type racetracks. I'm going to say Jeremy Mayfield will keep the car clean all night long and stick it in victory lane. Now let's go to Mike Hogwood.
And I'm with my esteemed colleague, Steve Burns, so I'm going to defer to him right now for the prediction because you're usually right.
Well, I predict Buddy Baker will be on fire for 600 miles. Actually, sentimentally, I'd like to see Darrell have a great run. I'd like to see Ken Schrader have a shot at that $1 million, but I'm like Randy, I think Jeremy Mayfield is going to break into the win column finally. You know, he's just looked so strong the whole year, and I think Jeremy's going to get win number 1. How about you, Mike?
Well, I think Jeff Gordon might do it. I think he had a good happy hour, better than he expected. And I think even though his car was wrecked this morning, that he might just do it tomorrow night. Claire B. Lang, how about you?
Well, I was going to go out on a limb and say Bobby Labonte, but then I heard just minutes ago Bobby Labonte radioed in and said during practice, do everything the 6 car's doing. So I got to say it's going to be Mark Martin. He was 3rd here last year, and it's a Martin win tomorrow. Let's go back to DW.
Well, I'm down here working on my boss's car, making a small adjustment on it here, and I would like to say that maybe he was going to win the race, but I really think, hey, Makart, come over here a second. Makart, Larry, y'all both come over here. Come on over here, Larry. I'm sorry that I'm sorry about the spoiler. This is my sentimental favorite right here, and this is the cat over here that I think is going to dust them off, though. I think that the car that this gentleman's working on is the class of the field. He will be tomorrow night, and so I say he's the guy to win the race, and me and Larry will enjoy watching it.
Why were you sentimental favorite?
Well, if I can't win, then I'm sentimentally for you.
All right, that sounds good.
You want to ask that question again?
Yeah. Is have anything who you drive for?
Well, I could, might get a bonus, might have a party. You never know what could happen right now. I'm just looking forward to, if he does good, I do good. And I never thought I'd see that day.
And all the water's going to stay in the motor this week.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that was just water, by the way. He told you that. He says, didn't you know it was going to blow up? I said, how do you know it's going to blow up? Back up to you, Ken. I got to get out of this mess.
All right. Bobby Labonte's the choice over there at DW. It all comes down to that. Baker, what about tomorrow?
I think Dale Jarrett has the temperament. I think he has the team, and he certainly knows how to win here at Charlotte. I think he's the guy. Also, Rusty Wallace. He has the temperament. He has the car and certainly the crew to put him in there.
Dr. Dick Berggren.
I think you're absolutely right. I think tomorrow night's going to belong to Rusty Wallace. He's got so much experience at this racetrack. He has run so well here. Besides, I want to see him win. He's done such a good job as an announcer tonight. He's going to take my job if he doesn't win this thing.
I think Mayfield is pretty much there. I can't see how he can keep losing. This kid is so good, so talented. But the real winners are the millions of American racing fans who believe in these 43 folks, and for good reason. These are the kind of folks you can believe in, just common folks who do uncommon deeds in Winston Cup racing. They are a special breed, and we hope you'll be here tomorrow night to watch this fascinating 39th annual Coca-Cola 600. For Buddy Baker, Dick Berggren, Randy Pemberton, Steve Burns, Alan Bestwick, Mike Hogwood, Claire B. Lang, the whole gang, thanks so much for being with us. Ken Squire along. Tomorrow, 5:35 Eastern, pre-game show, a little after 6. They'll drop the green on the $2.5 million 39th annual Coca-Cola 600 live from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And tonight, it's the Cubs and the Braves getting after it. 7:05 here on TBS, the Superstation.
The preceding has been a presentation of Turner Sports, where this year you saw cable television's exclusive coverage of the 18th Winter Games from Nagano, Japan. Coming in July, the 4th Goodwill Games from New York.